Do our conversations about crypto have you wanting to do more with your career? Check out Fidelity, which has been exploring Bitcoin and blockchain since 2014. They were the first traditional asset manager to launch a native crypto business and also among the first to launch a Bitcoin exchange-traded product. So why consider Fidelity? Because they invest in their talent with continuing education programs and they invest in their technology, ensuring associates are working with the latest and greatest so that their crypto teams can continue to improve and evolve their product, staying ahead of the rapidly changing digital asset landscape. With Fidelity's iterative, scalable approach, built to meet today's increasing demands across the digital space and a commitment to developing innovative tools, there's never been a more interesting time to work in crypto and DeFi at Fidelity. Explore Fidelity Crypto Careers today. Go to crypto.fidelitycareers.com to learn more. That's crypto.fidelitycareers.com. Fidelity is an equal opportunity employer. And now it is on with the show. My guest today is Bryce Ferguson. Bryce is the founder of Turnkey, which is, well, secure, flexible, scalable wallet infrastructure. Essentially, we'll learn all about this today, but welcome to the show, Bryce.
Thanks so much for having me, Andy. Excited to be here.
Excited to have you here, Bryce. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It would be super cool if you could please introduce yourself. Would love to hear some of your personal and professional backstory. Yeah, what have you been doing in the lead up to founding a Turnkey?
Awesome. Yeah, so I've been in and around key management for a long time now. So I got my start in crypto at Coinbase, where I was building their staking business and then building Coinbase custody really from the ground up. It was one of the most runaway product market fit products you could ever imagine. We grew from $0 to $100 million in ARR in 2.5 years. And it was just this really awesome vantage point to see how institutions were entering the space, how crypto participation was changing, and how, frankly, all of the infrastructure under the hood was powering that. Ended up meeting my co-founder, Jack, there as well, on both the staking side and the custody side. So got both a lot of experience and a co-founder out of it, which was great. After that was at Trade Republic out of Berlin. So that's kind of like Robinhood for Europe, where I was leading their crypto team. Built the product from scratch, integrated with a lot of custodians, and just kind of saw a lot of the challenges in the market for building applications. This really inspired Turnkey, and we started that in 2022 and have been scaling it since.
Yeah, very nice. Thank you, Bryce. And look, I guess it's worth just dwelling on the Coinbase side of things, just very quickly, because obviously, everyone knows Coinbase, and Coinbase, I guess, one of the more successful, exchanges, organizations, brands, whatever you want to call it in crypto. But how did that experience, I guess, working as a product guy, if you like, kind of shape your vision for what you guys want to do at Turnkey?
Yeah. I have been incredibly thankful for my experience at Coinbase the entire time I've been working on Turnkey. I think very, very operationally excellent company, and a company that's just been plugged into every single facet of crypto since day one. I think the big thing that shaped a lot of what we have been doing at Turnkey is this realization that all these other providers, including Coinbase Custody, hadn't really been viewing wallets as infrastructure. They had been viewing them as something that you walked up, you put your $100 million of crypto on, and then you never touched. And so having that experience and being able to see that, pulling infrastructure out and going very low level with Turnkey would open up the design space for builders who were trying to make much more bleeding edge products, really was a lot of the inspiration here around Turnkey.
Yeah. And I see that you guys have, you were just named one of CNBC's, I think, 2025 world's top fintech companies. That was a bit of a mouthful, but I think people get the idea of what I was trying to say there. So yeah maybe just explain, is that kind of, is that worth anything? Is that just a vanity title? How did you, what is it about Turnkey that is kind of being recognized by CNBC? What, just bring that together for us.
Yeah, I mean, it felt like a huge milestone for us. I think We, in many ways, in the beginning of Turnkey, we're just in this crypto hole, and we're focused on the deepest parts of crypto infrastructure. And so, seeing that recognition of hey, a lot of the products that are being built on Turnkey are off really changing the way that the world trades, the world does payments, the world kind of interacts across the scene in finance. And so, yeah, I think it was exciting for us to get that recognition.
For sure. I think it's probably useful about this time in the podcast, Bryce, to just actually explain to people a little bit more about, what Turnkey is, the different kind of solutions and products and so on that you have available. So in any way you want to approach that, just kind of, talk us through what you guys are actually doing.
Yeah. So I think it's good to start with the basics. Every transaction in crypto starts and ends with the private key. It is this piece of data that allows you to access the crypto that's held on your wallet. Um, with that, the security around it is incredibly, incredibly sensitive. And so what we've done with Turnkey is built very, very sturdy infrastructure that allows businesses to manage these keys for themselves if they're automating transactions behind the scenes, or help users manage those keys and provide access to user wallets within their applications. So we see a whole bunch of different use cases for this. It's everything from Bridge using us for their stablecoin payments flows, Polymarket using us to secure some of the markets under the hood. We have folks like Moonshot and Axiom, some of the biggest trading platforms in crypto, that use us to offer their users wallets. The list kind of goes on and on.
Yeah, very much so. So I guess one of the things you talk about is I guess secure, programmable, embedded wallets. With not necessarily kind of moving away from the old school kind of seed phrase idea. So how do you kind of position yourself and I guess that timeline and where do you think we are today in terms of just kind of I don't know, state of the art UX and wallet management and security?
Yeah, so we've been seeing this really large shift away from more traditional wallets where you have to write down your 12 word seed phrase and you have to etch that onto a metal plate and bury it in your backyard, to what we call embedded wallets. So this is basically the ability to log in with a more Web 2 style authentication method, whether that's your email, a social login, SMS, and then have that non custodial wallet that you as the user still have full control over under the hood. Um, our view is that most crypto products in the next 10 years are going to be products that are powered by crypto where the user doesn't even realize that they're using crypto under the hood. And so with Turnkey, you're able to really abstract away that experience and build what feels like a true kind of Web 2 financial product that's using crypto rails underneath the hood. Um, Moonshot is a great example here. I've already mentioned them. They're a meme coin trading app and kind of broader trading app that you can sign in with an email, use your biometrics to buy a meme coin, and do that with Apple Pay. And it feels even easier than signing up for Robinhood in many ways.
And just look, I think it's people can read between the lines. It's pretty obvious why this is an important. This feels like the natural path to take. But just explain why, I guess, from your point of view, Bryce. That's kind of necessary if we're going to continue to attract new people to crypto, or just widen the adoption curve, if you like, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah, it's two sides. I mean, one side of it is you just got to reduce friction in order to allow people to onboard more easily. I would never tell my mom to go download a wallet, write down her seed phrase, go through all of these processes to swap on a Uniswap or a Jupiter, because it just is too complicated for someone like that. Um, and so by reducing friction, we're going to be able to bring on new types of users who are less crypto native and are just looking to solve a problem. The other side of it is really around safety and security. Throughout crypto, there have always been these cases of people losing their seed phrase, getting phished, getting hacked. And with these embedded wallet products, you're able to have much more customizable security that suits these use cases. You don't have to expose the seed phrase to anyone. It never has to leave the trusted hardware that it's held on. You can have additional policies layered on top of this that ensures that that key is only being accessed for certain types of actions. All of these things are going to make it so the entire economy can eventually be built on crypto. Because right now, if you lose your seed phrase and you lose your entire net worth, that doesn't work. So we need to move forward and have more of these traditional security controls in place.
Yeah, 100%. And saying that, so obviously embedded wallets, they remove friction, as you've explained. One criticism has been that they also potentially can centralize abuse or attack vectors, but I'm sure maybe that's true, maybe that's not true from your point of view. So is there any kind of trade-offs here that you have to make with embedded wallets, or is it all positive?
Yeah, I mean, there are trust factors in anything in crypto. I think this is something that gets a little bit lost in the not your keys, not your crypto story. Is even if you're holding your wallet on MetaMask or you're holding it on a ledger, you're trusting MetaMask or you're trusting Ledger in that case. And there is centralization that is allowing you to have that service. I think that the really great thing about crypto is you can choose your own adventure with how you want to store your crypto. If you do want to etch your seed phrase onto a metal plate and store it that way, you have that option. But I think the trade-offs between centralization and trust vectors versus the usability improvements make sense for the vast majority of users to use embedded wallets.
Yeah. So I guess if you looked at the wider metrics in terms of, where your services and products are being used, I'm sure it's probably in the billions in terms of assets, transactions, assets secured. How behind those kind of metrics though, and look, if you've got those metrics that you want to share, love to hear them. But how do you measure, I guess, customer or client success?
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one for us because we have some clients that are doing just a handful of transactions on us and getting a ton of value out of Turnkey security. And we have some that are doing millions and millions of transactions to get a ton of value out of Turnkey. So a lot of this is working really closely with our clients on what are the exact problems that they're trying to solve and how can Turnkey's pretty flexible infrastructure be used to solve those problems. Um, from a top level company view, we're tracking, what is the transaction growth of Turnkey, how much is flowing through our pipes, and how can we, make sure that Turnkey is able to facilitate more and more of the crypto economy over time.
Yep. I mean, I guess it's obvious that, Turnkey is already a success at one level. But if you kind of look forward, where are we now? I don't know, token native wallets, embedded payment rails, what's coming next? AI agents, AI payments. But if Turnkey is kind of the infrastructure or part of the infrastructure of, the crypto economy, can you see some kind of like a killer app moment or something that will really achieve product market fit to kind of take things to the next level? Is there anything like that you see on the road ahead?
I think it's hard to say just a single thing. And much of the bet of Turnkey is by starting at a lower level, we are always able to adapt to the new trends. Um, part of the vision here is every single bank account is going to have a crypto wallet side by side with it. Every financial transaction is going to be happening on crypto. All payments, AI agents are going to have wallets associated with them and going to be transacting through those. And so it's just this view of, I think there have been a lot of killer apps in crypto already. Trading platforms and payment apps have already really shown product market fit. And how can we expand those and continue to grow the penetration of them?
For sure. So I guess, you guys have been around a little while, but feels like it's kind of moved fast as well. I think early seed funding in 2022, is that right? Then
That's right, yeah.
Series A, maybe 2023. We talked about the CNBC recognition this year. So, I guess you could argue that you've kind of ridden the mild bull market up, right? So the times have been kind of interesting, kind of good. Um, do you have a plan if we do go into the inevitable crypto bear market? Will that affect what you guys are doing, or I guess you're widely spread enough now that you'll be sheltered from the worst of that?
We've been through the bear market already. So we
Okay.
started in 2022, and shortly after we started, FTX, Celsius, all of the blow up
Yeah, of
there,
course.
it was deep and dark for a little bit. But we had been through bear markets before that.
Of
Our team
course.
has just been in crypto for a long time. And so I think we have the battle scars that we are always planning on. How do we make sure that we're building for the long run and not getting out of our skis? Um, with that though, these are going to be famous last words. It feels like this is a little bit different. We are starting to see really widespread use of crypto in payments use cases and non-trading use cases, which are a little bit less subject to the volatility of crypto and the booms and busts that we see. And Turnkey also is a very diversified product. We have a ton of different folks across different verticals building on us. And so I think we're now in a much more resilient position as we have the ups and downs that are going to happen with any economy. And hopefully the volatility of crypto is reducing over time as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was going to be my next question. I guess you kind of answered it as kind of just, any thoughts in terms of just how you see where we are in terms of that current market cycle versus, potential actual retail adoption. 'Cause it feels like it's kind of like the institutional adoption is kind of happening at pace, but maybe this cycle, the kind of the retail adoption has lagged somewhat, Bryce?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think meme coin mania has felt like it has softened a little bit. Earlier this year with Trump token and all of these other things, it did have a lot of retail backing behind it. Um, but now it feels like it's more serious enterprises who are thinking very strategically about how does crypto transform the way that we do business? How does it lead to easier internationalization, more crypto native yield, cheaper payments costs, all of these things that are really going to reshape the economy?
Yeah. What about I guess like the regulation or the different regulatory environments around the world. I'm sure it's a little bit challenging just to think about different rules for different jurisdictions depending on what's happening, or is that kind of more on the client side, and you guys provide the infrastructure, and it's kind of up to the clients to implement things in a way that makes sense for their local laws, right?
Yeah, so Turnkey is a non-custodial wallet solution,
Yeah.
which means we aren't in control of those private keys. Um, if somebody's implementing it for a custodial solution, they need to think about regulation. If they're implementing it for a non-custodial solution, the end user's in control. And so that usually is not subject to regulation. But I will caveat this with I am not your lawyer, and everybody should do the research.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, as we start to finish up, just this part of the podcast, Bryce, what, anything that we haven't covered in terms of what you guys are doing at the moment, and also, give us a sense of, I suppose, what you guys are working on at the moment, what could be coming next.
Yeah. Um, so I think the thing to underscore here is um, we just see Turnkey being used across the crypto economy. We're really excited about a lot of the DeFi and trading applications here, and we're seeing kind of just a transformation of how people trade in crypto. And then on the payments and fintech side, tons of folks are entering in the space. Turnkey has a lot of exciting announcements to come on that side. Um, we've continued to focus on both our embedded wallets product, so the ability to have these non-custodial wallets for your end users, and on transaction automation, so the ability for businesses to automate different crypto operations behind the scenes. Um, so continuing to evolve those offerings. We're going to have a big announcement on our embedded wallets product in the next month. So definitely should keep an eye out for that. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah, well, and speaking of that, then, well, what is the best way for people if they work for some kind of organization involved in crypto and then perhaps need some new solutions for private key management, for wallet providers, etc. Where should people go? What's the best way for people to jump into what you guys do?
You can go to turnkey.com and we have a form to fill out there, or even just DM me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @sadbryce.
Nice, at Sad Bryce. And yeah, that website again, turnkey.com. Link is in the show notes, folks. It means, though, Bryce, that it's time to start to finish off the show. And we do that, of course, by running you through the very famous Crypto Conversation hot take round. Are you up
Love
for
it. Let's do it.
Let's do it, Bryce. I'm just going to run some questions at you. No right or wrong way to do it. Just give us your honest answers, hot take style. Question one, a funny one for you. Let's see what you have to say. Where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
I am definitely on the multi-chain side. I think everybody should hold some Bitcoin, but we're seeing just an explosion here, and multi-chain infrastructure is just so important right now.
Yep, very much agree. All right, well, what would you say then, Bryce, is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
Firmest conviction crypto opinion. Ooh. I think that we overcomplicate the use cases of crypto and layer on too many abstractions. And ultimately, we should just be thinking about what are the jobs that people want to get done. Um, Maybe even saying that differently, I think we should take more inspiration from traditional finance and the problems traditional finance has been solving rather than trying to create problems with crypto.
Like it, very much agree. Bryce, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So you look, as someone who's been essentially building crypto products for a decade or so now, you'll be very familiar with that kind of thinking, Bryce. But, 10 years, it is a long time, especially in blockchain. But cast your mind forward, 10 years ahead, anything you like, kind of, Web3, the crypto economy, Turnkey. What does it all look like in 10 years' time?
I think Turnkey is going to be powering trillions of transactions a year. And we are going to just be a cornerstone of all the crypto applications in the space, really driving innovation within crypto.
Yep, love it. All right. Another way of thinking about this is, it's a wonderful quote by sci-fi author William Gibson, who famously said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Now, you've heard that quote before, but can you think of an example of the future being here right now, Bryce, but most people aren't aware of it?
Ooh, I think it's AI agents transacting in crypto. And there are a ton of really smart people building in this space. And a lot of it just feels like really cool toys right now. But you can see glimmers of massive use cases coming out of this. And I'm so excited for the day where I can pick up my phone and book a restaurant, book a workout class by just talking to my AI agent and having them go off and do it.
Yeah, I mean, well, okay, let me just push you one step further then. What
Yeah.
are those glimmers of those massive use cases? So what does that look like, just a step beyond sort of being able to, tell my agent to call me an Uber or something?
I think it's really having a network of agents that are collaborating on business and kind of strategic challenges. So you could say, "Hey, this agent go off and build an app," and it goes to the very specialized design agent that it pays with a crypto wallet. That agent pulls together some designs. It goes to the engineering agent. That agent puts together very secure, robust code for that. Then it goes to the compute agent at AWS and gets compute allocated to it. All of these things, I think, are going to fit together in really interesting ways.
Love it. Fascinating. Pure sci-fi. And it brings us really nicely to the final question, Bryce, which is very simply, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Gosh, the one I've been thinking about a lot and kind of related to AI in certain ways is the three body problem, where it's the world faced with an impending arrival of aliens, and they have to figure out what to do there. And I think on the AI side, I am often thinking about, hey, there's this impending singularity of what happens as AI agents really start to explode in intelligence, and how does that change how we should be operating today? And I don't have a good answer for it yet, but something I've been thinking about a lot lately.
Yeah, fascinating. Very good. Yeah, and have you read the Chinese trilogy, or just watched the Netflix show, or
I've read the books, yeah.
you've read the books?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Love it. Bryce, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us today. I guess just to close it out again, tell people, yeah, essentially what you guys are trying to do at Turnkey. What is the high level vision, and tell people where they should go if they want to engage further.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for having me, Andy. Turnkey, just as another quick summary, we are secure, flexible, scalable wallet infrastructure. We can be used for everything from offering wallets to your users inside of an application to managing your backend crypto operations for payments or smart contract deployment, all of that good stuff. Um, Come find us on Twitter at TurnkeyHQ, and then feel free to DM me if you're building something interesting in the space and you want to dig in.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much, Bryce. All the best, and bye for now.
Cool. Thanks, Andy.